the same is true for the Russian Revolution. This is Vladimir Lenin. He's not charismatic, but he is extremely focused. He's fanatical. And this is Leon Trotsky, who is very charismatic. He's a great speaker, and he's a Jew, okay? So I will point out that in 1917, he helped lead the revolution. But before that, he was actually in the United States. He had an apartment in New York City paid for by wealthy Jewish bankers. His uncle is a very wealthy Jewish industrialist in Ukraine. Okay, so he's part of this transnational capital network. And even though he himself is a revolutionary, he hates capitalism, if someone gives you money, you cannot help but be influenced by that person, okay? That's just a reality. All right, so October 1917 is when the Bolsheviks launched a revolution and they seized power. And then a month later, they organized an election. And as you can see, they are not the most popular party in Russia. They only have about 23% of the vote. The socialist revolutionaries actually have much more popularity than they do. They are 37%. And then you have all these different groups. The Ukrainians, the cadets who are liberals, the Bolsheviks, the Cossacks. So at this point in history, Russia is divided into so many different groups. You have different ethnicities, you have different political programs, you have different orientations, okay? And this is what will launch the Great Civil War, okay? And at this time in history, remember, the Bolsheviks only control a certain part of Russia. They are the official government, but they only control a small part. And the White Army, which is a combination of the liberals and monarchists, they have a much more stronger military. And also at the same time, you have all these different ethnic groups, the Ukrainians rebelling against the Bolsheviks, including the Polish. But over the next 5 years, slowly the Bolsheviks will obtain absolute power. And so the question is, how do they do that? Well, the first tool is terror. Okay, this is called the Red Terror, where they went around and killed anyone who opposed them. Now, what you don't understand is there's actually strategy behind the Red Terror. The very idea is to steal as much money as possible from wealthy people, okay? So you're an aristocrat, you have a lot of wealth hidden. I need your money. So you either give me your money or I will kill your daughter, and I will kill your son, and then I will kill your wife, okay? So it's your choice. Give me all your money or I will kill everyone in your family. So the Bolsheviks were fanatical about this, and that's why they won the war. Leon Trotsky organized the Red Army in the war against the White Army. Okay, there were also the Greens, which were these peasants. So there's a lot. So the Bolsheviks were far behind. So how did the Bolsheviks, the Red Army, win the war? Well, guys, they had a lot of help. Okay, they had a lot of mercenaries coming to the country, tens of thousands of mercenaries to help them, especially the Chinese mercenaries, the Latvians, the Hungarians. Okay, why? How did they get all this money? Transnational capital. Wall Street and the city of London were bankrolling the Soviets. Why were they doing that? Also, we have to remember that at this time in history, during the revolution, Britain and France, United States, Japan sent armies into Russia. Now, what you learn in class is, oh, it's because they are capitalists and they fear the communists. And that's why they sent armies to try to reduce the Bolshevik threat. That's not true, guys. Why they sent the armies is because the Bolsheviks reneged on debt, okay? Russia owed a lot of money to Britain, Japan, United States, and France. And so these armies were sent in order to threaten the Bolsheviks. So what the Bolsheviks did was they stole as much money as they could from the peasants, from the nobility, from the treasury, and pay off these armies. And then these armies helped them in the war against the whites. Okay, does that make sense? Okay? All right, so let's summarize what we've just learned. Now, what you're taught in history class is American Britain needs Russia in war against Germany, and that's why, and the Germans control the Bolsheviks, and that's why Britain and America would not support the Bolsheviks. And the counter argument is, no, it's transnational capital that has influence over Anglo-American foreign policy. Okay, do you understand? Anglo-American foreign policy, it's not to serve national interests, it's to serve private capital. Okay, that's the first point. Second point is, the Bolsheviks are communists, and so they're a threat to capitalism. And The counter argument is actually transnational capital cares about profit. They don't care about ideology. All right? What drives them is money, not ideas. The third argument is the Bolsheviks hated imperialism and capitalism, so they would refuse to work with Wall Street and the City of London. And the counter argument is that they believe that the ends justify the means. We just have to do what we need in order to obtain power. Then we can create our socialist paradise. Okay? All right. All right. So this is a book called Wall Street and the Russian Revolution. A historian by the name of Richard Spence. He spent a lot of time collecting documents that show that in fact transnational capital were helping the Bolsheviks win power in Russia. Why? Because they believe in the Bolsheviks? No, because transnational capital, first and foremost, steals. You understand? They like revolution because revolution is an opportunity to steal as much as you can. Okay, you can buy things really cheaply during a revolution, and this is his argument. So this is how empire works, guys, okay? They destroy nations in order to steal as much as they can. What happens afterwards? They don't care. All right? It's that simple. All right. Okay, so after the Bolsheviks consolidated power, after the Civil War, everyone assumes that Trotsky would be the new leader. But it's Stalin that becomes the new leader, okay? Why? Because after the war ends, there's expectation among the Bolsheviks that, we help the transnational capital so much, they're gonna help us rebuild our nation, okay? They're gonna give us loans, they will give us technology to help us rebuild Russia. And guess what happened? Transnational capital says, no, you guys are good. We're good. We made our money, okay? And so now what's happening is that Leon Trotsky, who is a Jew, he gets blamed, right? Because Leon Trotsky is the one who brought in transnational capital. He's the one who facilitated this exchange. And now the Bolsheviks thinking, oh, this is a Jewish conspiracy. You Jews were planning on us all along to steal everything from us and then screw us over in the end, okay? And that's why Stalin won. All right, so let's go over the difference between Leon Trotsky and Joseph Stalin. Leon Trotsky did not work for transnational capital, okay? He was first and foremost a revolutionary who was interested in global revolution. He had a messianic calling to transform and save the world. But he was accused of being transnational capital, and because he was a Jew, everyone just assumed that he was a spy, okay? And he also had a personality which was arrogant and aloof. Stalin had his own issues, okay? But he benefited from the fact that Trotsky was a Jew and he was able to slowly amass power for himself. He also has a background as a police informant, but being a spy for the capitalists was a much worse crime, all right? And that's why Joseph Stalin won in the end. And this is terrible for the Jews, the Bolshevik Jews who believed in the revolution, because they all got killed by Joseph Stalin, okay? Leon Trotsky was killed along with all his children.